Hey, look at this, Noodlers. It is Sell-A-House, Arizona, Wholesale Real Estate Investing, number 166 on this Freedom Friday, September, what was this, the 18th, 2015. What an awesome day. It is a beautiful morning, or AM, not morning, here in Phoenix, Arizona. But, wow, I thought I might have some company here this morning, but it looks like it's just going to be just me today. But I do have something that I'm very interested in talking about. We've been talking about systems and relationships for a long time and how important they are to this business in wholesale real estate, and realistically in how important they are in any business, not just necessarily wholesale real estate, and also how important they are in your life, just in your personal, everyday things that you do in being successful at everything. Really all comes down to pretty much systems and relationships. I'm going to bring it back to wholesale real estate. I'm going to talk about some systems and relationships that we have in place that have allowed us, that are allowing us to maximize profits out of deals. Now, we just took down a property and we already got paid on it once and we're going to get paid on it again. And that's one way to maximize profits. And so I'm going to kind of run through this and show you how the systems and the relationships come into play to allow this to happen. Typically, wholesale real estate, you're going to go out and contract a property. You're going to make your calls, do your email blasts, whatever it is. And you're going to advertise that you have this contract for sale, because this is something that you guys might want to think about and look forward thinking here. There's a lot of things going on around the whole thing of wholesaling, because quite honestly, government's always trying to figure out ways to stop us all from making money. And, wholesaling, we can make a lot of money. So they're looking at, what are all the problems that we're causing and how to shut us down. And so one of the things that they're looking at is the fact that when we have a property under contract, we turn around and we're advertising a property for sale. Well, unless you're a licensed realtor, this is something that's been around for a long time. I don't know when. Sounds pretty stupid and ridiculous to me, but unless you're a licensed realtor, it's illegal for you to sell somebody else's property. Why is that? I have no idea, but fact of the matter is, the bottom line, the inside reason why wholesaling can happen is because you're not selling someone else's property. You're actually just selling your position in a contract. Okay, so that's something you might want to look forward to, thinking about in the way, your terminology is in your assignment contracts, just because of the fact that it's something that, is being looked at in a number of states and potentially being cracked down on. So in wholesale real estate, as I say, you get a contract to purchase a property from a seller. You're buying the property. Okay, you're not selling it for them. You have a contract to buy it from the seller. Then you turn around and you are assigning your position in that contract to an end buyer. Now the end buyer is going to step in. They're going to, close on this contract in your place, with the difference from what you contracted it for and what you assigned it for, what you assigned this contract for. You're not assigning the property, you're assigning the contract. What you assign the contract for, say $10,000, and then they bring their money into closing. The money goes to, the sale of that property, and there's $10,000 left over, which is your assignment fee, which goes to you. That's how it works. So you're going to get your 10K off of this property. Now, so you had to go out and find the property. You had to go out and contract the property. You had to then do all the work to, find the investor to sell your contract to, and then you're done. So what we got going on here is, and then you have to go out and do it again. You go out and find another property, and then you turn around and do it again and again and again. And that's wholesaling. So one of the things that you can do to maximize your profits a little bit is to put yourself in a position to be able to actually take down your properties, to actually purchase them for yourself. That's what I mean by taking down, to actually purchase them for yourself. How do we do this? That's an interesting question. Well, first of all, you need money. So with all these wholesale flips that you're doing, you might want to start saving a little bit of money, because you can do it a lot faster without having to use all your own money if you put yourself in a position to leverage some hard money. So with the use of hard money now, you have somebody who's going to give you a loan, and they're going to give you, but they're not going to give you all of it. Let's say you have a $70,000 purchase price on the property, then you have this loan for 80%. Well, that's only going to be $56,000. You're $14,000 short. But see, you don't need $70,000 to buy the property. You only need $14,000. Well, closing costs included, maybe $16,000 to buy the property. So you can see you can get yourself into that position a lot quicker by using leverage of hard money. And why would you do this? Well, because I'll get to that in a second. It's actually, you can actually use this, you can actually do this to create a double payday situation for you. You can get paid on the front end and the back end. And you might be thinking, well, okay, I contracted to purchase this property for $70,000, and I was going to wholesale it to a guy for $80,000, and he was going to go in and do the work and fix it up and sell it for, whatever, $140,000, right? Well, here's what you can do, and this is what we're doing. Well, let me just go back to the system a little bit. John and myself, who are here often, we are actual business partners. We are two people running one business. And that's a very powerful thing, because obviously we can have the thought processes of two people and the physical, mental working powers of two people building one business. Now, yes, partnerships are not easy all the time, because people have conflicts of interest, people have different thoughts and ideas, which is what makes what we're doing very powerful, because it's easy to have trouble within a partnership with two people who aren't on the same page, so to speak. The difficult thing to do in creating a partnership is to make sure that you have two people that their thinking is in harmonious compatibility towards the direct end result. Now you don't necessarily have to like each other 100%, but as long as your thought processes, your thinking is in the general direction. Now, likability is always going to play a very huge factor in how much you are willing to be on the same page with another person. It's hard to be on the same page with somebody that you really kind of don't like. So a friendship, obviously, a camaraderie, the ability to hang out with the other person, so to speak, and get along and not have issues outside of the business setting, certainly goes a long way towards being able to have this harmonious mind meld towards the business in working towards your ultimate goal of success in the business. But the power of two minds and the power of two people obviously is hugely bigger than what one person can do on their own. So anyway, John and I are one business entity. We are pretty much like the hub of the organization. We are, so to speak, the business. We are the Property Noodlers system. Okay. Now we have another partner, and we have within the business, we have a very key player, an employee who is our assistant, and that is huge because there's a lot of working pieces within this business, and even though we have two people working, in harmonious effort towards the end goal, there's just a lot of too many moving pieces for even two of us to handle it all. So we have Kim, who puts together a lot of the stuff that now we don't have to do, and we can continue perpetuating forward. And eventually here, we're going to, well, actually, we just hired another employee. So now we actually have two employees. So we have somebody who is has the ability to run a lot of errands for us and do a lot of other things that, Kim is a physical presence at the office. Now we have somebody who's out in the field, so to speak, who's able to pick up a lot of the slack that, again, takes things off of John and my plate so that we can continue building it forward. Now, there's still a lot of other pieces to the whole puzzle here, one of which is we have in place with a strategic partner. Now, this person is not, part of the company, so to speak, that runs Property Noodlers and Sell-A-House Arizona, but this person plays a key role in a major piece to putting it all together. Without this person, we wouldn't have the ability to, put it all together and have enough work for everybody, so to speak. So this person is an outsourced, so to speak. I wouldn't use outsourced because that definitely that more goes along the lines of an employee style. This is an independent contractor and a strategic partner. And with a strategic partner, this person takes, a portion of a percentage of the profits at the end of the close of a deal. Instead of getting paid basically like per performance, let's just say they produced, 100 widgets and we sold 100 widgets, well, we don't pay them to produce the 100, to produce the 100 widgets. We pay them upon a percentage of what we sold the widgets for. So they can actually make more money that way. Then we have another strategic partner. So this is on the acquisition side. This is where we get, the properties that we're able to contract and wholesale and take down. Then we have another strategic partner whose forte is raising money. This person is also part of the Noodler team and is also working to bring in deals. And what's awesome here is that this person is also good at raising money. So there's now a capital base from which we can pull to take down deals with this strategic partner. Now, the great thing is he's working both within our system and he has part of the system and bringing in deals. So he's getting a piece of that pie. And he's also on a strategic partner end, bringing in cash to partner with John and I on taking these deals down so he can get a piece of that pie. And then he's actually like one step ahead of us right now because he's also, he's still got his own business, because he's not an independent contractor. He's not working for us, so to speak. Well, he he is on the other side, independent contractor, sort of quote working for us. But then on the other side too, he's also a strategic partner and with outside sources and activities where he's running his own business, doing other things in the arena of real estate and wholesale real estate and all that for himself too. So Brian's actually kind of one step ahead of us because he's kind of sort of got three things going on. We don't quite have that going on because we're still building the system. So, but the power of us being able to have a strategic partner like that, that's what's giving us the ability to take down some of the deals that we get instead of just, flipping it on a wholesale and then on to the next one. Now what we've done is we've created, like I said, 2 paydays for ourselves because what we're doing here is we get a contract to purchase. We're not just closing on that contract, okay? We are, just like I said earlier, we're sort of flipping it to ourselves at the wholesale flip that we would normally do. So we contract in one company, in one entity's name, and these are, we had to create a couple of LLCs for this. We contract in one entity's name, and then we sell it to another entity's name, which both are owned by us. The first entity we contract all of our properties in, and this is the wholesale company, okay? So when we sell to ourselves, we've just completed a wholesale transaction. We can still take the money created from the wholesale transaction. We can, put the money that goes in back into the business, into the wholesale business from each wholesale transaction. We put that money back in. We can, pay all of the team players that played a role in landing that deal. We can pay out whatever strategic partners are also played a role in that deal. And we ourselves, John and I, could take a payday off of that deal. Now, we don't get a big payday off of it, and I'll come back to that in a second. But the fact that we just completed a wholesale transaction, everybody got paid off of that. That deal is done, but now John and I and our strategic partner have a fix and flip property in our possession that we can do something with and turn around, sell it again later, and make a second payday off of. Does that make sense? So here's the power of the strategic partner. For John and I, first of all, we have the hard money in place so that we can sell from one entity to the other. This entity has the hard money lender in place who's going to pay the 80% of the $70,000. And, so he's going to give us the $56,000, and then our strategic partner is going to come in with the $16,000. So for John and I, it cost us $0. Okay. Now we certainly compensate everybody on a very fair basis due to that fact. Hey, there's money coming from here, hard money lender. He's already got his outlines established, so he's getting everything he wants. The strategic partners coming in, we're compensating him very well because he's bringing the money that we don't have to come up with. And now the three of us, or the two of us actually, are kind of partnered together on this project, and we're going to go take that and turn it into another payday. So that's a very powerful way for you to see how the systems, coupled with leverage and partnering and relationships, and why we talk about these things all the time, come into play for all of this to happen. Now, you might be kind of going, I'm not quite getting all of this, because this is completely out of the box thinking here, okay? And you may not be, a big out of the box thinker at this point. You'll probably, if you get into wholesale real estate, you'll probably end up becoming one, and that's okay. That's the great thing about the Property Noodler system is you don't have to be an out of the box thinker to start with, because hey, we're doing that part for you. You can be a totally in the box thinker, and when you come in and you join the team, you can start lifting the flap and looking your head out and seeing what's outside of that box and going, wow, that's some really cool stuff. I want to get out of this box and see what's going on out here. So that's one of the ways, like I say, that the system and what we've created here and what is available for you, should you be interested in wholesale real estate, is a way to open your exposure to unique creative things that are already in place, a system that's already in place, strategic partnerships that are already in place, and you too can take advantage of all of these opportunities that come down the line. Because who's to say that if you are on our team and we pull in and you pull in a deal, who's to say that we can't just wholesale that deal to you, complete the wholesale transaction of which you're going to get paid on, and now you have another project to now you have a project of your own, that you can take to a secondary payday. Here's the interesting thing. You might think now, okay, you guys, that's awesome. You guys, landed a deal, you wholesale flipped it to yourself, you completed the wholesale transaction, and now you've got a property with that you're partnered with your strategic partner that you can do your fix and flip on. Well, yes and no. A little example of this. Let's just say we had a contract to purchase for 40,000, and we wholesale flip it to ourselves for 70,000. Now we took that, so there's a $30,000 profit margin there. So we took that $30,000, we paid everybody out over there, and so pretty much all that money is gone. It's all been paid out for the wholesale. So we still don't have any money to do a rehab. Do you see what I'm saying? So we're not doing a rehab. All we're going to do to this property is we're going to take, because we take the ones that we're picking are a real mess. So we're going to take this property and we're going to clean it up. We're going to clean it out. We're going to maybe do a little bit of work. I don't know. Maybe we put a new AC unit on it. Maybe we put all new windows in it. Maybe we paint the outside. I'm not saying we do all three. Maybe we only do one. Maybe we do all three. Whatever the case is, we're only doing a piece of the rehab. So fortunately, we're in a position right now where we have enough funds that we can go ahead and fund that for ourselves. But another thing that we can do also is we can have our strategic partner come in with, let's say, we need 16,000 to close. Let's have our strategic partner come in with 20,000. So now we got 4,000 to do the prehab. So we just do a little bit of work on these properties, not a whole lot, clean them up nicely, and then we can stick them out on the MLS, and we can mark them up and we can sell them for a much higher price. Well, not a much higher price, but we can sell them for a higher price than what we wholesaled to ourselves for. We only put in a little bit of money, maybe anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000, and we can resell that for another, say, $15,000 over what we wholesaled it to ourselves for, and now we can pull another $10,000 out of it and get ourselves another little payday out of that property that doesn't go back to the wholesale company. This is just between the strategic partners. So even though it's a smaller profit, for John and I especially, we may end up making the same amount on the back end that we made on the front end. So for us, it works out really well. For our strategic partner, it works out really well because, he would have gotten his share out of the wholesale. I mean, he already did. He got his share out of the wholesale deal, but now too, for whatever the cost of his money is, which is not that much because we don't have these properties for generally 2 payments is all he's going to make on this money. So there's not a lot there, and it's coming out off the top before the profits are split up. So it gives him an opportunity to, get involved with making a second profit off of some of the deals that we're pulling in. So it works really well. It's a big opportunity. And whether you're watching this as someone who wants to join the team, get involved with wholesaling, start working some deals, making some money, learning the process, thinking out of the box, and looking at the opportunity to potentially work yourself into a position to be able to do exactly what I talked about and work your way into pulling double paydays off of these deals that you're bringing in. Excuse me. Or if you're somebody who's looking at this and going, okay, you guys obviously are looking for a little bit of investment capital. I've got a little bit of cash here that would certainly be sort of what we call the gap funding, which is the amount we need between the hard money and the purchase price, and including maybe a few extra funds for some rehab. You might be a person out there going, hey, I got a little bit of cash. Maybe I can make a good decent return off of my money instead of the quarter or half or 1%, or if you're lucky, whatever it is that you're getting out there in the open marketplace and in other areas, and go, okay, this sounds good. And remember, obviously, your money is secured by real estate. So you've got something tangible, not paper promises, that you've got your money invested into. So with that, I would just like to say that, and hey, and maybe if you have a little bit more money than just wanting to do the gap funding thing, maybe if you've got a little bit more money, you want to fund the whole thing for us, that's even better, because now you would be secured in a first position with the tangible asset of real estate. So, just in case, all of us get hit by the bus tomorrow, because this is our business. This is what we're doing. We are being very successful at it. We want to grow this. It's not like we're looking to, fail on anything that we get into. We're only looking for the ways to succeed. So, it's a good place to get into. It's a good organization to get into, even if it's investing your money into it. It's a good place to be, a secure place to be, because our desire is to succeed for everyone. That's the whole idea. So we want your money to succeed. We don't want to go out there and borrow your money and fail on a project and have you have to foreclose and take a property. That's not the purpose of why you want to put your money into this, and that's not where we want your money to go. We want your money to go into the project. You don't have to do anything. Your money comes out of the project with its profit. Boom. You got what you wanted. We got what we wanted. Everybody gets paid. Everybody gets money. Everybody makes money. And that's what it's all about. So, like I said, if you're looking at this thinking along those lines, PropertyNoodlers@gmail.com. We're accepting your emails as well there too, along with all of those of you who are looking at this going, wow, there's some real opportunity here to make some good money doing wholesaling and learning and growing, especially for somebody who doesn't know anything and doesn't have any money. Great place to get started. PropertyNoodlers@gmail.com. We're accepting your emails too. So with that, everybody, I hope you kind of see why, now that we are always pushing on these hangouts, relationships, why we talk about, what is in this book right here, How to Win Friends and Influence People on New Op Days, because this is all about relationships and building relationships and being able to communicate with people. It's also obviously, a required skill in negotiating and actually getting contracts and getting deals. So that's why we talk about that stuff on Monday, and why on Wednesday, no, that's why we talk about this stuff on New Op Day. I'm sorry, I threw that word out there again. That's why we talk about this on New Op Day, and then on Wednesday, why we're generally always somehow, some way talking about systems, because you can see how these systems play a role in, multiplying your success. As I mentioned, the wholesaler, he went out, landed that deal. Let's just say, where was I? There was something that I had there that really brought it out. So as a wholesaler, let's say you go out and you can do, well, I'll tell you right now, even with two of us, with John and I, we were doing strictly wholesaling. We were averaging about a deal and a quarter a month, okay? So let's say you can go out and you can do a deal and a quarter a month, and you can do a deal, like I said, 40 grand you contracted, selling it, wholesaling it for 70, you're making a 30K profit. So it's a fat month, right? But at 1.25 a month, where was I going with that? Okay, at 1.25 a month on a $30,000 deal, you're pulling in $37,000. Okay, so you can do that month after month. But when you create a system, right, and now you have, say, a team member or something like that, where you can now start pulling in. Oh, I know where I was going with that. I'm sorry. I mentioned the fact that John and I on the wholesale front end take a very small payday. In actuality, what John and I end up putting in our pocket is somewhere around 10% of the total net. Approximately maybe 20% goes back into the business, and the other 60% pretty much goes out to the team. Now, why such a huge factor going out to the team? Well, because as I was mentioning, if you have 1.25 deals a month, and we have 1.25 deals a month times 4 or times 10, let's say, in actuality, the team's bringing in times 10. I'm working the same, I'm only getting 10%, but I'm getting the same profit off of the team pulling in 10 that you're pulling in off of 1. Okay, so that's a great place to be right now because the team's doing a lot of work. There's a lot of things I don't have to do, and I'm making the same money. Now, all it's going to take is a little bit more team building, and let's say the team's doing 20 a month. Okay, you're still doing the same one. Now we have, now we're actually doing less, and we're making twice as much. So you see, that's where the whole systems come into place. And I'm sure you can see now where the relationships really come into place. So with that, everybody, it is now 9:02, and I'm going to go ahead and put an end to this. Systems and relationships, again, the power behind them. I'm Paul with Sell-A-House-Arizona.com, the PropertyNoodlers@gmail.com. If you have any interest whatsoever in wholesale real estate or potentially investing your lazy cash into some tangible assets with something that you can really get your fingers on coming back to you. Got to watch the FCC terms I use there. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to end as we always do with the Napoleon Hill prayer, which goes, "O universe, I ask not for more riches, but for more wisdom, with which to make better use of the riches given to me at birth, consisting of the power to control and direct my own mind to whatever end I might desire." Everybody go out, have a great pinnacle, a great celebration, a great climax, whatever you use for the next 2 days. We'll see you back here on New Op Day with